Hello and welcome to Unacademy, India's largest online learning platform, where it provides you a world of courses, resources, and content to help you prepare for your various examinations and courses, and also give you topics of your choice and interest. Crack CA exams with us is a vertical of Unacademy, which helps the aspirants of the CA Foundation, Intermediate, and Final course in preparing for those final exam and a tough course of this chartered accountancy examinations. So let's crack CA exams with us and be a part of Unacademy, where you get top educators, quality content, and great learning experience. Welcome to Unacademy once again. A little about the educator today, that is me. Hello, I'm Prathik Gupta. I am a Bachelor of Commerce from Christ College, Bangalore University. I am an associate member of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India. I am an associate member of the Institute of Cost Accountants of India and also an associate member of the Institute of Company Secretaries of India. I am also a law graduate from Karnataka State Law University and currently a practicing chartered accountant. I am also a visiting faculty for CA subjects as well as an educator for CA students both offline and online. Prior to starting my practice, I worked with SR Bartley Boy and Associates, that is an Indian member firm of Ernst & Young Global in the Audit and Assurance Department, and Ernst & Young India, that is EY India, in the Mergers and Acquisitions Department. I also worked with the Manipal Group, Bangalore, as the corporate controller of their Indian entity and their German subsidiary located in Frankfurt, Germany. That is when I got back from Germany, from Frankfurt, Germany. That is, I decided to start my own venture, and here I am today taking this session for you. And welcome to my session once again. During the course of the session today, in case you have any doubts, any queries, anything at whatever time, please feel free to ask. And also, if you go to YouTube and type Prathik, Prathik, you will get a list of all the other sessions that I've taken so far, along with the sessions on the Unacademy platform. I request all of you to go through those sessions and benefit from them and ask me any questions or doubts that you may have during reviewing those sessions. Thank you very much for joining in and welcome to my session once again. Unacademy also has a Plus platform, which is a subscription based paid platform, and I encourage and urge each one of you to become a part of it as soon as possible. Why is that so? Because of 4 reasons. There are daily live classes on the Plus platform of Unacademy, where you get to choose your educator, choose your topic, chat with your educator, engage in discussions, ask your doubts, and answer polls, all while the class is going on. Yes, you heard it right. All this happens while the class is going on. You do not need to fix another appointment. You do not need to take time. You do not need to wait for some other future date. But you can discuss your doubts and clear your doubts as and when the class is going on real-time basis, with discussions with your educator on real-time basis. The Plus program or Plus platform of Unacademy conducts various live tests and quizzes which help you evaluate your performance with the regular mock tests and quizzes and get detailed analysis of your performance. So what happens with this? With the detailed analysis of your performance, you get to know your strong points, your weak points, and your not so strong points, so that you can spend lesser time on your strong points and compensate that time to spend on your weaker areas or not so stronger areas, so that those areas also become your strength. So these periodic live tests and quizzes help you evaluate your performance and know where you stand in terms of your level of preparation and help you improve all the time. The courses provided by the Plus platform of Unacademy are structured. They are structured courses in the sense that all the courses are in line with your exam syllabus and help you best prepare for it. And maximum care is taken that no part of the syllabus is missed out, and all important topics are covered in the courses provided by the Plus platform of Unacademy. And lastly and most importantly, it gives you unlimited access. That is, one subscription to the Plus platform of Unacademy gets you access to all the live and recorded courses to watch from the comfort of any of your devices, that is your desktop, your laptop, your tablet, or your mobile phone, at the convenience of your bedroom or the drawing room, or while you're commuting in a taxi or a bus, or while you're waiting for someone in the waiting area. You can access the recorded and the live courses and content provided to you by the Plus platform without any restrictions, at any time, 24/7, at any place. These are the major advantages you get when you subscribe to the Plus platform of Unacademy, which is a paid subscription model. Further details of which I will be giving you ahead in the session. So I encourage you and I request all of you to become a part of the Plus program of Unacademy as soon as possible, which adds a little edge in your preparation for the various examinations and subjects that are of interest to you. For those of you who have downloaded the Unacademy Learning app and are using it, I thank you very much and I request your support in the future as well. And for the ones who have not yet downloaded the Unacademy Learning app, I request you to download the Unacademy Learning app as soon as possible and make use of it. The registration process is quite simple. You will need to enter your mobile number and an OTP is sent to your mobile. Using that OTP, you can register on the Unacademy Learning app. So what happens once you start using the Unacademy Learning app? Once you start using the Unacademy Learning app and you have got it installed on your phone, you are carrying the world of contents, courses and resources that Unacademy has to offer to you in your pocket to access it at any time that is suitable to you and convenient to you. You do not need to wait for any time or place. You can access it whenever you want. At the click of a button, all the information and the courses and contents of Unacademy are available to you. So once again, for the people already using the Unacademy Learning app, I thank you for your support and look forward to your support in the future as well. And for the ones who are not yet using it, I request you to download the Unacademy Learning app as soon as possible and make the most of it. The Plus program of Unacademy, as I said, is a subscription-based model, and the CA Foundation and Intermediate subscription packages are as follows. I am part of the CA Foundation and Intermediate subscription. So the packages of the CA Foundation Intermediate subscription for the Plus program of Unacademy are as follows. The packages are for 1 month, 3 months, 6 months, 12 months, and 24 months. The cost of the packages are given to you as follows. The 1 month package costs you rupees 3,500. The 3 month package costs you rupees 8,750. The 6 month package costs you rupees 14,000. The 12 month package costs you rupees 17,500. And the 24 month package costs you rupees 21,000. While you make a choice of the core package that you want, please do not forget to use the code Prathik, P-R-A-T-H-I-K. I think it's not displayed on your screen. It should be P-R-A-T-H-I-K to make the most of it, to get a discount of 10% on the listed price. So the after discount price of each package will be as follows. The 1 month package will cost you rupees 3,150. The 3 months package will cost you rupees 7875. The 6 month package will cost you rupees 12,600. The 12 month package will cost you rupees 15,750. And the 24 month package will cost you rupees 18,900. While you're welcome to choose the package of your choice, I would recommend the 12 month and 24 months package for the following reasons. Firstly, it is cost effective. If you look at the per month cost in the 1 month package and the 12 months and 24 months package is almost 1/3 of your 1 month package cost. So it gives you cost effectiveness. Secondly, when you prepare for the CA Foundation and Intermediate course, you require at least a year to prepare for both these examinations. So a 12 month or 24 month package will be most useful for you, as both the foundation and the intermediate is being provided under one package, and it gives you the access to world-class educators covering all the important parts of the syllabus and the CA Foundation and Intermediate course. So I recommend you and request you to enroll for the 12 months or 24 months plus program packages for the CA Foundation and Intermediate course. Having said this, you're free to use you're free to choose the package that you want, that is a 1 month, 3 months, 6 months, 12 months and 24 months package. But while doing so, please do not forget to use the code Prathik, P-R-A-T-H-I-K, which is mentioned as code right now. It should have been Prathik. So P-R-A-T-H-I-K to get a discount of 10% on the listed price. Also, for the people who have not yet followed my profile on the Unacademy app, I request you to open the Unacademy app. Look for my profile, that is Prathik Gupta, P-R-A-T-H-I-K, G-U-P-T-A, and click on the follow button to get live updates on the timings and topics of the sessions that I will be taking on Unacademy, so that you are always on time to my sessions and I get to meet you as well. I would love to have you in my sessions and to clarify your doubts and discuss with you important matters relating to the CA Foundation and Intermediate subscription. Thank you so much, and I look forward to seeing you all on the Plus platform very soon. Like I told you earlier, you can go onto YouTube and the Unacademy platform to see the various sessions that I've already taken on Unacademy. It ranges from the Companies Act to the Indian Contracts Act, Indian Partnership Act, Limited Liabilities Act, Limited Liability Partnership Act, Income Tax Act. So there are various sessions that could help you. I request you to go through these sessions and give me your feedback and ask me any doubts you have while going through these sessions. Take about a minute, go through these subscription packages, and then we proceed. All right. The topic that I'm going to take today is registration of charges. This comes under the Companies Act 2013, and this topic relates to the intermediate course of the Chartered Accountancy course. Now, if there are various other sessions on Companies Act 2013 that I have taken, and those sessions are posted for your perusal on YouTube as well as the Unacademy platform. The sessions ranges from incorporations and matters incidental thereof, allotment and prospectus, declaration and payment of dividends, accounts of companies, audit and auditors of companies, registration of charges is what we're doing today, management and administration. Then we have various other introductions to the Companies Act 2013, and today the topic that I'm discussing with you is registration of charges. So before I start off the session with you, can we just discuss as to what do you mean by the term registration of charges? What do you mean by charges, and then what is the whole procedure, or what do you mean by registration? Just take 2 minutes and think about it, and let me know as to what do you mean by charges. Okay, now charges are something, charges in terms of Companies Act 2013 means when any asset of the company is pledged, hypothecated, mortgaged, or any charge is created on the assets of a company, that is known as charge or creation of a charge. So the Companies Act 2013 mandates that whenever a company, private or public limited company, creates any pledge, hypothecation, or a lien on the assets of the company, such an event should be informed to the Registrar of Companies or ROC as soon as possible, or within the time frame provided by the Companies Act 2013. That is the meaning of registration of charges. Now, why do you think charges are created? Charges are normally created when a company takes a loan from a bank. So the bank, when it gives a secured loan, obviously it wants something as a security. So the bank might say that, okay, I'll give you a loan, but I want so-and-so assets of yours as security. So that is nothing else but creating a charge on the assets of the company. And then there might be other events as well. When a company purchases something, when the company sells something, that time also maybe a charge may be created just to guarantee that the interest of the other person is taken care of. So all these events, that is the creation of a charge, modification of a charge. Modification of a charge means when any charge is created and it is subsequently modified due to any reasons, due to change in terms and conditions with the bank or with the investors or with any other vendor, then it is a modification of charge. And then eventually when you repay the loan to the bank or you repay the loan to the loan provider, then there is a ceasing of charge or a closing of charge. So all these events need to be intimated to the registrar within the prescribed time given under the Companies Act 2013. And in case it is not done so, there are very harsh penal provisions in the Companies Act 2013 that the company and the people in charge of the operations of the companies need to know. They are called officers in default. they need to bear, and that is what we will be discussing. So we will also be discussing what are the various types of charges, what are the procedure to create a charge, modify the charge, or close a charge, as well as what is the procedure for registration of a charge with the Registrar of Companies, that is ROC, within the time prescribed under the Companies Act 2013. At any point in time, if any of you have any questions regarding this, please feel free to ask me, and I will be more than happy to answer it for you. Introduction. Wherever a company obtains a term loans or working capital loans from financial institutions or banks by offering its properties or assets, etc., as security, it is required to create a charge on such property or assets in favor of the lender. Okay, like I told you earlier, whenever a company obtains a loan from term loans means loans which are taken for a fixed period of time or fixed term, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, or working capital. Working capital loans simply mean overdraft facility or cash credit facility to meet the various working capital requirements of the companies. Those are called short-term loans as well. From financial institutions could be non-banking financial institutions or banks by offering its property or assets as security. Now this is done whenever the banks or the financial institutions require a security to give you the loan. In case the loan given is unsecured, in that case there will be no charge created on the assets. But whenever the loans or working capital requirements are given on security basis, then a charge or security is created on the assets of the company. In other words, creation of charge is necessary in case of secured borrowings availed by the company. Even when secured debentures are issued, a charge on a specific movable or immovable property needs to be created in favor of debenture trustee. So like I said, only whenever the company takes a secured loan, in that case a charge is created on the assets of the company. And also when the company issues secured debentures, that time a charge on the specific movable assets means assets that can be moved around. Immovable assets mean assets that cannot be moved. Example, buildings, heavy machineries, and all those are immovable properties. Movable means your stock, your furniture, and whatever that can be moved needs to be created in favor of debenture trustee. Once a charge is created with the Registrar of Companies, once a charge is registered with the Registrar of Companies, it becomes an information available in the public domain which can be used by a lender to his advantage. After the registration, apparently the company is precluded from offering the same assets again to borrow funds fraudulently from a different lender. Now, let's take a situation. Let's discuss this in detail a little bit. Now, why do you think the creation of charge? Why do you think the creation of charge has to be registered with the Registrar of Companies? How would that benefit, or what is the whole purpose? I mean, a lot of people might think, oh, it's a waste of time. It's just additional documentation and paperwork. But what is the whole idea behind this? So the idea behind this is whenever there is a charge or lien created on the assets of a company, and the company has used those assets to take a loan from a financial institution or a bank, and the same is registered with the Registrar of Companies, then that becomes a public information. That means any person or any banking institution or any financial institution can access that information in the ROC records and check whether the same assets have been offered earlier as a security for another loan, so that this is ensured that the same assets are not given again and again to borrow funds fraudulently, because one asset cannot be charged again and again to obtain a loan. They can be charged only once. So this registering of charge with the Registrar of Companies checks the fraudulent transactions of companies where the same assets are offered as security again and again and obtaining different loans, which will be a fraud. So to take care of the interests of financial institutions, banks, and other people lending money to the company, the registration of a charge always has to be registered. The creation of a charge always has to be registered with the Registrar of Companies in the timelines prescribed by the Companies Act 2013. Please take a minute, go through this slide, and then we proceed. Take another 30 seconds or so and then we proceed. Okay, now we go to the types of charge. There are two types of charges. One is a fixed charge and one is a floating charge. So let's now discuss a little bit about what are those two types of charges. A fixed charge. A fixed charge is a charge which attaches specific assets of the borrowing company. These assets are of permanent nature like land and building, office premises, machinery installed by the company, etc., and are identified at the time of creation of charge. When a charge is created on such assets, the charger remains fixed and charge remains fixed, and the borrowing company is not permitted to sell those assets, though it may use them. Fixed charge is created by way of mortgage or deposit of title deeds. Assets under fixed charge can be sold only with the permission of the charge holder. Fixed charge is vacated when the money borrowed against the asset subject to fixed charge is repaid in full. So now we read what do you mean by a fixed charge. A fixed charge is a charge which is created by identifying specific assets at the time when the loan is given by the financial institution or a bank to the company. For example, they might specifically identify the buildings, office premises, or machineries installed by the company. Okay, and they say that, okay, now against these three assets, we are giving you a loan of 2 crores, 3 crores. So what happens in this case? Whenever a fixed charge is created on specific assets of the company, so those assets are identified and a particular charge is created on them. Now, when a charge is created on specific assets, the charge remains fixed, and the company which has taken a loan by creating a fixed charge on those assets cannot sell those assets but can use them. And whenever the company, if and when, decides to sell those assets, it needs to take specific permission of the financial institution or the bank from which it has taken a loan by creating a specific charge on those assets. Now, what are the ways in which a fixed charge can be created? A fixed charge can be created by way of mortgage or deposit of title deeds. Now, mortgage means you mortgage that particular asset, that is your office premises or machinery, with the lender, or you deposit the title deeds, that is the sale deeds and the other documents affecting the title of those properties, with the lender. So this ensures that you cannot sell it as long as the loan taken using them is in force, and also without the permission of the person lending you the money. So assets under fixed charge can be sold only with the permission of the charge holder. A fixed charge is vacated when the money borrowed against the assets subject to fixed charge is repaid in full. So let's say the premises, office premises, building, machinery were given as a fixed charge and a loan of 3 crores were taken. Now, until the amount of 3 crores is repaid to the financial institution or the banks along with the relevant interest, the charge is not said to be vacated, but the charge remains. And once the money is repaid to the bank or financial institution along with interest, then the charge is vacated. So the creation of charge, modification of charge, and vacation of a charge, all these three events need to be intimated to the Registrar of Companies in the time prescribed by the Companies Act 2013. Please take about 30 seconds, go through this slide, and then we proceed. So this was about a fixed charge. Please go through this and then we proceed. A floating charge. A floating charge is created on assets which are of fluctuating nature like raw materials, stock in trade, debtors, etc. A floating charge is created by way of hypothecation or lien. The assets under floating charge keep on changing because the borrowing company is permitted to use them for producing final goods for sale. Example, in a case of a company which manufactures leather goods, raw material in the form of leather, which is subject matter of floating charge, shall be used to manufacture leather goods without seeking any permission from the lender. The raw material, that is leather, which was attached at the time of creation of floating charge may not be the same after some time, though floating charge continues and keeps on attaching the raw material which is currently in possession of the company. Now we need to discuss what do you mean by a floating charge. Now, floating charge, unlike fixed charge does not create a particular charge on specific assets of the company, like your office premises, building, and your machinery. But it creates a charge on those assets of the company that keep on changing, or those are always in movement, and that is used by the company for production of final goods and earning of revenue. For example, sundry debtors, stock, raw material, everything. These are all assets of the companies which are given as a floating charge, and they keep continuously changing, which means to say that same raw material that is lying in your godown when the charge was created need not always be there. Unlike your fixed charge, in a floating charge, that same raw material need not always be there, but that raw material can be used to produce the final goods and then sold, and then a new raw material comes in, then that new raw material becomes subject matter of the floating charge. So it keeps rotating. Similarly, your debtors. Today your debtors might be 100 rupees. Debtors are the people who you are supposed to get money from. Today it might be 100 rupees. Tomorrow out of 100 you might get 20. Then another 50 rupees is created. So your debtors become 100 minus 20 plus 50, 130. Then out of 130 you might receive 100 rupees. Then your debtors become 30. Then you might sell goods again on credit, and your debtors might add 80 to it. So 30 plus 80 becomes 110. So that way your assets under a floating charge keep on changing, because the work of the company or the operations of the company continuously progress, and they do not stop or halt for anyone. So like you see the example on your screen, the same raw material that is lying in the godown, leather, may not be the same, but new leather comes in, then that is used for production, then new leather comes in, that is used for production. So you see that leather is completely in circulation. So once the leather is in circulation, it is used in production and new leather comes in. So a floating charge is that the charge keeps on floating on those assets again and again. It does not remain fixed and constant on any particular asset, unlike your fixed charge. Okay, now how can your floating charge be created? Floating charge can be created by hypothecation or lien, whereas your fixed charge can be created by mortgage or submission of title deeds with the lender. Please take about a minute, read this slide, and then we proceed. It's important for you to understand what is floating charge and fixed charge, and then we proceed. Take about a minute. Now we go on to the duty to register charges. Let's have a look at a glance. First, if there is any charge, that means any assets of a company are pledged or are given on lien before 2nd November 2018. In that case, you need to register the charge within 30 days of creation. If not registered within 30 days, register within 300 days of creation on payment of additional fees. So if the charge was created earlier to 2nd November 2018, then the creation of the charge had to be registered within 30 days of its creation. If the charge was not registered within 30 days of its creation, you also had a second opportunity where you needed to register the creation of charge within 300 days of creation on payment of additional fees, on penalty, that is penalty. And still, if you did not register within 300 days, then you need to register within 6 months from 2nd November 2018 with additional fees. Different fees for different class of companies. So there were 3 opportunities given to you. One is 30 days, then 300 days, and then another 6 months. Now, what happens if the charge was created on or after 2nd November 2018? In that case, you needed to register the creation of charge within 30 days of its creation. You need to register the charge. If it is not registered within 30 days, then register in the next 30 days, that is 60 days from the date of creation with additional fees. And then if it is not registered within the additional period of 30 days, then register within a further period of 60 days with ad valorem fees. So here also there were 3 opportunities given to you. One is when you create a charge, register it within 30 days of creation of the charge. If you miss to register it with the ROC within 30 days of the creation of the charge, then you register it within an additional 30 days from the creation of charge with payment of additional fees. Then still, if you have not registered within the 60 days of creation of charge, in that case you get a further period of 60 days and then an ad valorem fees. Ad valorem fees means ad hoc fees, whatever the ROC or the Companies Act deems fit, that fees will be charged as an additional fees. You pay that fees and you register the creation of charge. Okay, so these are the 2 situations where a charge is created before 2nd November 2018 and a charge is created after 2nd November 2018. Please take a minute, go through this slide, and then we proceed. Take a minute. Okay, now let's talk about registration of charge. What do you mean by this? Registration by the company creating a charge. It shall be the duty of the company creating a charge within or outside India on its property or assets or any of its undertakings, whether tangible or otherwise, and situated in or outside India, to register the particulars of the charge. Now, like I told you so far, whenever a company takes a loan from a financial institution or a bank which is secured, it needs to create a charge on its assets. The assets, the charge can be either fixed or floating. We have seen the definition of floating and fixed charge. Now, it shall be the duty of the company creating the charge. That means it can create a charge on its assets within India or outside India if it has assets outside India. It could be tangible assets or intangible assets situated in India or outside India. Now, if a company has any assets in India or outside India, whether tangible or intangible, and if it creates a charge on those assets, it could be a fixed charge or it could be a floating charge, then it becomes the duty of the company to register that charge with the registrar of companies within 30 days of creation of the charge. If it does not, then it gets another additional 30 days on payment of additional fees. Still, if it doesn't, then it gets another 60 days with ad valorem fees. That could be high penalty. Okay, so it is the duty of the company which is taking the loan, not the company giving the loan, to register the creation of charge. Creation by charge holder, registration by charge holder under section 78, which is explained later, provides that in case the company creating a charge fails to register the charge within the prescribed period of 30 days, a person in whose favor the charge is created can get the charge registered. So, firstly, it is the company's responsibility, which is taking the loan, to register a creation of charge within a period of 30 days. But in case the company fails to do so, then the company in whose favor the charge is created may also get the charge registered. Now, obviously, if it's a financial institution or banking company which is giving you a loan and in favor of whom a charge is created, then in that case, the money lender can also go ahead and get the thing registered, because so that the same assets cannot be provided to anyone else and a loan taken by the company through fraudulent means. Okay. Registration by the purchaser. Section 79, which is explained later, covers another case of registration of charge where a company purchased some property in whose case a charge was already registered. In this case, Also, the company purchasing the property shall get the charge registered in its name in place of seller in the records of register. Now, just in case the company sells any assets which are against which a charge is created to the another person, so the person purchasing it can also create a charge in his own name instead of the seller's name in the records of the registrar. So it becomes, so from the slide you will see it is the prime duty of the person who is obtaining the loan to create or register the charge, but in case he fails to do so, then the charge holder can also get it registered, or the person who purchases those assets which are subject matter of a charge created can also get it registered in its own name. Please take about a minute, go through this slide, and then we proceed. Take about a minute, read this, and then we proceed. Now, how to register the charge? Now we saw that whose duty it is to register the charge and who can register the charge. How do we register the charge? Now, for the purpose of registration of charge by the company, the particulars of the charge in the prescribed form 3 form together with a copy of the instrument, if any, creating the charge duly signed by the company and the charge holder shall be filed with the registrar within 30 days of creation of charge along with prescribed fee. Now, let's say a company has created a charge on its fixed assets, land and buildings. All right, so then we need to submit to the registrar within 30 days of creation of the charge in the prescribed form as per Companies Act 2013, along with the document creating the charge. That could be the loan agreement or the loan sanction letter or whatever is the document that is creating the charge, signed by the company and the charge holder, and file it with the registrar within 30 days of creation of charge along with the prescribed fee. Okay, so that has to be done. Then verification of instrument of charge. A copy of every instrument creating or modifying any charge is required to be filed with the registrar shall be verified as follows. So now what we've done, we created a charge and then we took the appropriate form and the document which is creating the charge, signed by the company and the charge holder, we have submitted to the registrar within 30 days of creation of charge. Now how does the verification of the document creating the charge happen? First one, in case of a property situated outside India, where the instrument or deed relates solely to the property situated outside India, a copy shall be verified by a certificate issued either under the seal, if any, of the company, under the hand of any director or the company secretary of the company or authorized officer of the charge holder, under the hand of some other person other than the company who is interested in the mortgage or charge. So, in case the property which is being charged for the purpose of obtaining a loan from the banking institution or financial institution, the property situated outside India will be verified by a certificate issued which has to be either signed or sealed by the company or under the hand of any director or company secretary of the company or under the hand of some person other than the company who is interested in the mortgage or charge. So these people have to provide a certificate in case the property is situated outside India. All right. Please take about a minute, go through this slide, and then we proceed. In case you have any questions, please ask me. I will be happy to answer them. Okay. Extension of time limit. Charges created before 2nd November 2018, that is before the commencement of Companies Amendment 2nd Ordinance 2019. In such cases where a charge was created before 2nd November 2018 but was not registered within the original period of 30 days, the registrar may, on an application made by the company, allow such registration to be made within a period of 300 days of such registration. Now, like we spoke earlier, if the charge was created before 2nd November 2018, originally the registration of the charge should have happened within 30 days of creation of the charge. But in case the company failed to do so, it may apply to the registrar giving sufficient cause for the delay, and that it could not register it within 30 days of its creation. And if the registrar is satisfied with the reason given, may allow such registration to be made within a period of 30 days of such creation. So 300 days. So that 30 days could be extended to a period of 300 days of creation. Now, what about the charges created on or after 2nd November 2018, that is on or after the commencement of the Companies Amendment 2nd Ordinance 2019? In such cases, that is, a charge was created on or after 2nd November 2018, but the registration of the charge not effected within the original period of 30 days, again the company can make an application to the registrar, and the registrar, if he is satisfied about the delay, can allow such registration to be made within a period of 60 days of such creation. That means he can give you an additional 30 days are granted after the expiry of original 30 days on payment of additional fees as prescribed. Now, what is the procedure for extension of time limit? For seeking extension of time, the company is required to make an application to the registrar in the prescribed form. It should be supported by a declaration and the company signed by its company secretary or a director that such belated filing should not adversely affect the rights of other intervening creditors of the company. So like we saw, in case the charge is created before 2nd November 1998, the charge had to be registered within 30 days of its creation. But if the company fails to do so, a company can make an application in writing to the registrar of companies duly signed by the directors or its company secretary. And if the registrar of companies is satisfied with the reason given by the company, it may extend the date to 300 days from the date of creation. This is only for a charge which is created or before 2nd November 2018. Now, what about the charge that is created on or after 2nd November 2018? In that case, the charge has to be registered with the registrar of companies within 30 days of its creation. But in case the company fails to do so, there again the company can make an application to the registrar giving sufficient reasons. And if the registrar thinks that the reason given by the company is reasonable, he may extend that 30 days to by another 30 days, that is 60 days from the date of creation. Okay, now what is the procedure for extension of time limit? Like I said, an application has to be made to the registrar, signed by the directors or the company secretary, and giving sufficient reason as to why there was a delay. And if the registrar is satisfied with the reason given, he may extend the date. Please take about a minute, go through the slide, and then we proceed. Take about 30 more seconds, read this. It's very important. And then we proceed. Please feel free to ask me any questions you have. Okay, then issue the certificate of registration. If a charge is registered with the registrar, a certificate of registration of such charge shall be issued in form CHG2 to the company, and as the case may be, to the person in whose favor the charge is created. The certificate so issued by the registrar shall be conclusive evidence that the requirements of Chapter 6 of the Act and the rules made thereunder as to registration of creation of charge have been complied with. So once a charge is created and it is applied for registration of charge within 30 days or 300 days or 60 days, as the case may be, of the creation of the charge, in that case, if everything is okay, the registrar may grant registration of companies may grant registration of creation of charge and may issue a certificate of registration of such charge in form CHG2. That certificate may be given to the person creating the charge as also to the person in whose favor the charge is created. Once a certificate is issued under form CHG2, then that is conclusive evidence that the company has taken care of all the compliance regarding the registration of creation of charge. Okay. Subsequent registration not to prejudice right of charge holder. It is provided that any subsequent registration of a charge registered within the extended period instead of original 30 days shall not prejudice any right acquired in respect of any property before the charge is actually registered by the company. Now what happens, let's say a company takes a loan from A, secured loan, and for that purpose it creates a charge on the fixed assets of the company. Okay, and now before it registers that charge with the registrar of companies, it goes ahead and takes another loan from B, pledging or hypothecating the same assets that it gave to A. In this case, even though the first one has not been registered with the registrar of companies, but it does not take away the rights of A, who has got first charge on the assets of the company, even though the company has gone ahead and charged those assets with B again before registering the creation of charge with A. So it simply means it does not adversely affect the interest or the rights of A, okay, who was the original loan provider. Section 77 not to apply to certain charges. The application of Section 77 shall not be made to certain charges which are prescribed in consultation with the Reserve Bank of India. We shall discuss this clause in detail further. Unregistered charge not to be taken into account by liquidator or creditor. If a registrable charge, though created but was not registered by a company and no certificate of registration of such charge was issued by the registrar, it shall not be taken into account by liquidator appointing the Companies Act 2013 or the insolvency. Now let's say a company goes under liquidation or bankruptcy. The company files for bankruptcy or it goes under liquidation. In that case, a liquidator is appointed under the Companies Act 2013. Now, this clause says, in case there was any charge created by the company and that charge was a registrable charge, that means it had to be registered with the ROC within 30 days from its creation, but the company failed to do so within 30 days, 60 days or any other extended period that the registrar provided to the company. In that case, at the time of liquidation of the company or bankruptcy proceedings, that charge will not be taken into account as a secured charge, simply because the charge was not registered with the registrar of companies in time. Okay. Please take about a minute or two and read this and then we proceed. Take another minute, go through this, it's important, and then we proceed. So this is an incentive even more for the company to register all its charges, or more so for the person in whose favor the charge is created to get the charge registered with the ROC on time. Otherwise, at time of liquidation or bankruptcy proceedings, it shall not be taken into account. Application of registration of charge by the charge holder. Now we look at the provisions which deal with now the person in whose favor the charge has been created to apply for registration of the charge. Section 78 of the Companies Act 2013 empowers the holder of charge to get the charge registered in case the company creating the charge on its property fails to do so. Accordingly, if a charge is created by the company primarily responsible for registering the charge fails to do so within the prescribed period of 30 days, the person in whose favor the charge is created, that is the charge holder, may apply to the registrar of companies for registration of the charge along with the instrument of charge within the prescribed time, form and manner. Now, let's bifurcate this clause and read it again. Now, normally, who is supposed to register the creation of charge? That is the person taking the loan, or the person creating the charge, right? That means the company. So the company has been given 30 days or 300 days or 60 days as applicable by the registrar, or further time is extended by the registrar on suitable cause being provided. But let's say the company does not register the charge within the prescribed time or extended time as given by the registrar. Then the person or the bank or the financial institution in whose favor the charge is created may apply to the registrar for registration of the charge along with the instrument of creation. That means either the loan agreement, the sanction letter, or any other document which affirms the creation of the charge signed by the company as well as the charge holder. He may submit that instrument of charge to the registrar of companies and get the charge registered within the time prescribed. Recovery of fees. In case registration is effected on application made by the holder of charge, such person shall be entitled to recover from the company the amount of any fees or additional fees paid by him to the registrar for purpose of registration. So this simply means that the prime duty of registration of a charge is of the company who is obtaining the loan within the time or the extended time as provided by the registrar of companies. But in case it fails to do so, in that case the person in whose favor the charge is created can apply to the registrar for registering the charges in the registrar of companies. Now, obviously, when the register holder applies to the registrar for registration of charges, registration of creation of charge, there has to be certain fee or additional fee that he needs to pay. So once the charge holder pays that fees to the registrar of companies, that is the fees or additional fees as the case may be, he is then entitled to recover that money from the company, okay, which has created the charge, because obviously it was the duty of the company to register the creation of charge, but because the company failed to do so, then the charge holder has to do it. Please take about a minute, go through this slide, and then we proceed. Go through this slide. Just 1 second. All right. So I hope you have gone through this. Just give me a minute. Okay. Now, to apply in certain matters, the Act covers two situations. Uh, One relates to acquisition of any property already subject to a charge by a company. Other relates to modification in terms of conditions or modification in the extent of any charge already registered. In both cases, another registration in place of existing one becomes necessary, and the provisions in both cases, another registration in place of existing one becomes necessary, and the provisions contained in section 77 relating to registration of charge shall equally apply. Now, let's take two situations. First situation, there is a charge created on the fixed assets of a company, and you are going to acquire. Let's say a company has taken a loan from the bank, and for that purpose it has created a charge on the fixed assets of its company. Now those fixed assets are being sold by the company and it's being taken over by company B. Now company B is already taking over assets that are subject to creation of charge, and that charge has been registered with the company. Okay, so that's the first case. In the second case, company A has taken a loan from the bank, and for this purpose it has created a charge on its fixed assets. Now there are certain terms and conditions of the charge that the company needs to modify. Okay, that it needs to remove a couple of fixed assets and add a couple of fixed assets. In that case, it needs to modify the terms, and to the extent any charge is already created. In that case, section 77 relating to registration of charges shall equally apply. All right, that means we need to modify the charge. So let's look at the first case. Company acquiring any property subject to charge. In case of a property where charge is created, registered, and if it is sold with the permission of the holder of charge. So please remember, if the company A has taken a loan from bank and for this purpose has created a charge on the fixed assets of the company, and it plans to sell those fixed assets, in that case it needs to take the permission of the charge holder. In case the charge holder gives that permission to the company and company A sells those fixed assets to company B, it shall be the duty of the company acquiring it, that means the company B, to get the charge registered in accordance with section 77. In other words, the earlier charge would get vacated and in its place new charge should get registered by the company which has acquired it. So if company A goes ahead and sells the assets that it has created a charge on with the permission of the charge holder to company B, then the charge is said to have been vacated for company A, and company B will have to create a charge on it as per section 77 of the Companies Act and get that charge registered with the registrar of companies within the prescribed time. Okay, modification of charge when there is a change in terms and conditions requires any modification of charge, that is change in terms and conditions or the change in the extent of any charge, etc., to be registered by the company in accordance with section 77. So it means if there is any change in the terms and conditions of the charge created, then that has to be treated as a fresh charge, and that charge has to be registered with the registrar of companies within the time prescribed. Please take about a minute, go through this slide, and then we proceed. Okay, modification includes variation in any terms and conditions of the agreement, including change in the rate of interest, which may be by mutual agreement or by operation of law. Variation in extent or operation of any charge is also kind of modification. Even if the rights of a charge holder are assigned to a third party, it will be regarded as modification. So let's say company A obtains a loan of 10 crores from a bank at 10% per annum interest, okay, and pledging its fixed assets. So that asset was created, the charge on the asset was created and it was registered with the ROC within the time prescribed. Going further, the interest rates fell down and the company approached the bank and told the bank that no, now instead of 10%, please make the interest rate as 7%. And if the bank or the charge holder agrees, then it is said to be a modification of the charge created, and the charge has to be modified, and procedure under section 77 of the Companies Act has to be adhered to. In case there is also any extent or operation of any charge, there is any variation as to how a charge will operate, that means a fixed charge may be converted to floating charge, or a floating charge may be converted to fixed charge, that is also a kind of modification. So accordingly, section 77 of the Companies Act will have to be taken care of, and the procedures under that will have to be followed. Some other examples of modification are as under: where the charge is modified by varying any terms and conditions of the existing charge through an agreement. So that means when any terms and conditions of the current agreement is changed, and it is done through an agreement, that means the interest rate is changed or the tenure of the loan or working capital is changed, then that is said to be a modification. Where the modification is in pursuance of an agreement for enhancing or decreasing the limits. Let's say the loan originally was given for 10 crores, or the working capital was given for 5 crores. Subsequently, the bank increases or decreases the limits of the term loan or the working capital. In such a case, it is said to be a modification in the agreement, modification in the charge. Okay, where the modification is ceded by pari passu charge. Pari passu charge means the first charge. So if there is any change in the agreement by a first charge or overriding charge, that is termed as a modification. When there is a change in the rate of interest other than bank rate, when there is a change in repayment schedule of loan, not applicable in case of working loans which are repayable on demand. So let's say there is any term loan which is supposed to be repayable every year, and the bank suddenly decides to change the repayment schedule or repayment term of the loan. In that case, it is termed as a modification. Where there is partial release of a charge on a particular asset or property, let's say the company initially had pledged 3 assets or 3 machineries to get a loan, but subsequently the bank decided to release out of the 3 1 machine. So when there is a release of any asset, that charge that was created on any asset, that is also termed as a modification. Please take about a minute, go through the slide, and then we proceed. Please take about a minute more, and then we proceed. Okay, now then there is an issue of modification, issue of certificate of modification. As per Rule 6, where the particulars of modification of charge is registered with under Section 79, the registrar shall issue a certification of modification of charge in Form CHG2-3. The certificate so issued by the registrar shall be conclusive evidence that the requirements of Chapter 6 of the Act and rules made thereunder as to registration or modification of charge have been complied with. So, when a charge is created, the registration of the charge created is registered with the registrar. The registrar of companies issues a certificate of creation of charge in Form CHG2. Similarly, when there is any modification in a charge, such modification is registered by the registrar, and a certificate in the form CHG3 is issued by the registrar, and that certificate is conclusive proof that all the provisions relating to the Companies Act and rules regarding the modification, registration or modification of charge have been complied with. Okay, now deemed notice of charge. The Companies Act 2013 deals with the deemed notice of charge from the date of its registration. Accordingly, where any charge or any property or assets of the company or any of its undertakings is registered under the Companies Act, under Section 77 of the Companies Act 2013, any person acquiring such property, assets, undertakings, or part thereof, or any share or interest shall be deemed to have notice of the charge from the date of such registration. Okay, now what happened? Now in the beginning I told you, right, what is the whole purpose of registration of creation of charge? It means that the person cannot sell the same property on which a charge is created to another person, not sell, sorry, pledge to another person and take a loan from him as well by pledging the same property twice. So once a charge is created, please remember it becomes a deemed notice. Whoever is dealing with that company, whether he's buying those assets on which a charge is created, or he is giving a loan to the company by creating another charge on those assets, he is deemed to have the knowledge that there is a charge created on these assets once the registration of the creation of that charge is done with the registrar of companies, and the registrar of companies issues a certificate of registration of creation of charge in form CHG2. Then it is conclusive evidence or proof that all the provisions and formalities regarding the creation of charge and registration of it have been taken care of by the company. So then any company, any person who's dealing with the company in terms of buying those assets from the company on which a charge is created and registered, or creating another charge on those assets of the company and providing a loan to the company, shall deem to have a notice of the charge from the date of such registration, because the registration of creation of the charge has been done by the company. All right, the provision has cautionary effect. Thus, every person needs to be cautious or careful while he desires to acquire any property or assets of a company, and must inquire whether such asset or property is subject to any charge by going through the record of charges maintained at the office of registrar of the companies before entering into the transaction. He shall be deemed to have notice of the charge from the date of its registration. In case he enters into a transaction without making any inquiry and later on suffers loss because of charge, he cannot succeed against the company for incurring the loss, for it shall deem to have been that he is given the notice. Now again we come back to the point. Any person who buys the assets of a company needs to first go to the ROC records and check whether there is any charge created on those assets. He needs to make sure. Now there is a provision on the ROC website or the MCA website for public to download or pull out all these forms from the MCA website, as these are public documents. So any person who deals with a company in buying those assets is deemed to have knowledge of the creation of charge if the registration of the creation of charge has been done by the company, and the registrar of company has issued a certificate of the registration of creation of charge in form CHG2. Then also, if there is a person whom the company is approaching to pledge the assets again and take a loan, then also it is his duty to go on to the ROC website and check whether those assets have already been offered as a security to someone. And in case he fails to do so and goes ahead and does a transaction with the company, then the company is not said to be responsible, as the person who is dealing with the company is deemed to have knowledge about the charge. So a person who is buying the property as well as taking those property as a pledge to give a loan to the company will do so at his own risk in case he does not go to the ROC records and check the documents. Please take about 2 minutes, go through this, and then we proceed. Please take a couple of minutes, go through this, and then we proceed. Okay, now let's take an example. Ramesh Marketing Limited obtained a term loan of rupees 50 lakh from New Commercial Bank Limited by creating a charge on one of its office buildings, and the charge was duly registered. Later on, if the building is sold to Pankaj, he is deemed to have notice of such charge. In other words, it is presumed that Pankaj knew beforehand that the building was mortgaged to the bank for obtaining a loan. He cannot plead against such presumption by contending that he did not know about the charge if he suffers any loss at a later stage because of the mortgage. So let's look at and let's decipher the example. Now, Ramesh Marketing Limited obtained a term loan of rupees 50 lakhs from a commercial bank. So the problem says Ramesh Marketing Limited obtained a term loan of 50 lakhs from commercial bank. So obviously it was a secured loan. It was a term loan. It also created a charge on one of its fixed assets. So it has to be a fixed charge. That is, a specific asset was charged or pledged, and the charge was duly registered. That means the charge was registered with the registrar of companies within the time prescribed and the payment of fees, and the registrar issued a certificate of registration of creation of charge in form CHG2. So that means all the compliances with regard to creation and registration of charge was done by the company successfully. Later on, the same office building was sold to Pankaj by the company, by Ramesh Marketing Limited. So in this case, Pankaj, before he could have purchased the property, should have actually gone on to the MCA website, done his research, done his homework, and tried to download the form CHG2 and seen if what is the charge created and what is the asset on which the charge is created. And in case he is failed to do so, then he cannot plead that he did not know about it if he incurs any loss due to this transaction, because it is presumed that Pankaj knew beforehand that that the building was mortgaged to the bank for obtaining a loan, because it is a public document and could have been obtained by Pankaj taking reasonable care and prudence to find out. He cannot plead against such presumption by contending that he did not know about the charge if he suffers any loss at a later date because of the mortgage. All right, so this was an example. Please take about a minute, go through the example, and then we proceed. Please take about a minute, go through this, try to understand this properly, and then we proceed. And ask me any questions you have. Okay, Company to report satisfaction of charge. Now we saw the concept of creation of charge, we saw the concept of modification of charge, and we saw the issue of certificate of registration of creation of charge in form CHG2. We saw the certificate of registration of modification of charge in form CHG3, and the situations which were considered as modification. We saw all those. Now let's talk about the satisfaction of charge. Intimation regarding satisfaction of charge requires a company to give intimation of payment or satisfaction in full of any charge created earlier registered to the registrar in the prescribed form. The intimation needs to be given within a period of 30 days from the date on which the payment or satisfaction is made. Now, let's say a company obtained a bank loan from ABC Bank of rupees 10 crores for a period of 5 years. And then by pledging its office buildings and creating a fixed charge on its office buildings. So then what the company did, within 30 days of creation of the charge, the company registered the charge with the registrar of companies, and the registrar issued a certificate of registration of creation of charge in form CHG2. Good. All right. So that means all the compliances with regard to registration of creation of charge was done by the company, and there was nothing pending. Now after 5 years, the company repaid the loan of 10 crores to the bank along with the interest, and there was nothing due from the company to the bank. In that case, the bank will release the assets of the company, that is the office building. The fixed charge on the office building will be released by the bank. So that is said to be a satisfaction of charge, and whenever that is done, the company needs to intimate to the registrar of companies within 30 days from the date of such payment or satisfaction or release of the charge, so that he can cancel the creation of charge that was done earlier. Notice to the holder of charge by the registrar. On receipt of intimation, the registrar shall cause a notice to be sent to the holder of the charge, calling upon him to show cause within such time as specified in the notice, not exceeding 14 days, as to why payment or satisfaction in full should not be recorded. Okay, now what happened? The company took a loan from a bank for 10 crores for 5 years by pledging its office buildings as a fixed charge. That creation of fixed charge was registered with the registrar of companies, and the registrar of companies issued a certificate of registration of creation of charge in form CHG2. That means all the formalities was done. Good. After 5 years, the company paid the loan of 10 crores along with the interest to the bank. The bank released the assets that were pledged by the company. So then now what the company does, the company goes and intimates to the registrar of companies within 30 days of the payment or satisfaction of the charge that, okay, so and so were the assets on which the charge was created. Now the charge has been satisfied, so please release those assets. Now the registrar simply does not go ahead and register the satisfaction of charge, but in turn writes the charge holder that so and so application or so and so form has been submitted by the company for satisfaction of charge, and it says that it has paid you all the money. Now, is it true? Or within this time, please respond as to why the payment or satisfaction should not be recorded by me, and the earlier charge created should not be cancelled. So what the bank does, what the ROC does, it gives an opportunity for the charge holder to respond. So please remember, it is then becomes the interest or the responsibility of the charge holder to give a response whether to release the assets or not. No effect of section 82 on the powers of registrar. According to subsection 4, section 82 shall not be deemed to affect the powers of the registrar to make an entry in the register of charges under section 83 or otherwise than on receipt of an intimation by the company, even if no intimation received by him from the company. Alright, so this simply means that the registrar of companies cannot on its own motion do anything, and it has to write to the charge holder and wait for a response from them before it can register the closure of a charge. Issue of certificate. In case the registrar enters a memorandum of satisfaction of charge in full, he shall issue a certificate of registration of charge. So if in case the charge holder responds to him that yes, he has paid the money in full, there is nothing due and I have released the assets, in that case the registrar enters a memorandum of satisfaction of charge in full, he shall issue a certificate of registration of satisfaction of charge. Please take about a couple of minutes, go through this slide, and then we proceed. Take another minute, go through this slide carefully and ask me any questions you have, and then we proceed. Okay. Now, power of a registrar to make entries on satisfaction and release in absence of intimation from the company. Now, accordingly, with respect to any registered charge, if an evidence is shown to the satisfaction of registrar that the debt secured by charge has been paid, or satisfaction in whole or in part, or that part of the property or undertaking charged has been released from the charge or has ceased to form part of the company's property or undertaking, then he may enter in the registrar of charges a memorandum of satisfaction that the debt has been satisfied in whole or part, the part of the property or undertaking has been released from the charge or has ceased to form part of the company's property or undertaking. So, in case the company does not intimate to the registrar, but the registrar gets to know, or evidence is given shown to the satisfaction of the registrar that the debt secured by charge has been paid, or satisfaction in whole or part, or that the part of the property or undertaking. So three situations. Whereas first situation is the debt secured by the charge has been paid. That means whatever debt was taken by pledging the assets of the company has been repaid successfully, or it has been satisfied in whole or in part, or that part of the property which was pledged or against which a charge was created has been transferred from the company to another person outside the company, and that asset is no longer a part of the company. In such cases, the registrar may enter in the registrar of charges a memorandum of satisfaction that the debt has been satisfied in whole or part, or the part of the property or undertaking has been released from the charge or has ceased to form part of the company's property or undertaking. So if the registrar gets to know about this information, that a particular asset has been released, or a particular debt has been cleared, or a particular asset has been transferred from the company to another person, then in that case he can register the memorandum of satisfaction that the debt has been satisfied in part or full, and the part of the property or undertaking has been released. Information to affected parties. The registrar shall inform the affected parties within 30 days of making an entry in the registrar of charges. Issue of certificate. In case the registrar enters the memorandum of satisfaction of of charge in full, he shall issue a certificate of registration of charge of satisfaction of charge. Same like your certificate of registration of creation of charge in form CHG2, or the issue of certificate for registration or modification of charge in CHG3. If the registrar of company records the satisfaction of a charge, then he shall issue a certificate of the registration of satisfaction of charge. Please take about a couple of minutes, go through this slide, and then we proceed. Please take a couple of minutes, and then we proceed. Take about 30 seconds more. Please go through this in detail. Ask me any questions you have, and then we proceed. Okay, now, intimation of appointment or receiver or manager. The Act of 2013 is about the appointment of a receiver or manager and of giving intimation thereof to the company and the registrar. Accordingly, if any person obtains an order for the appointment of a receiver or a person to manage the property which is subject to charge, if any person appoints such receiver or person under any power contained in any instrument, he shall give notice of such appointment to the company and the registrar along with a copy of the order of instrument within 30 days from passing of the order or making of the appointment. Okay. In turn, the registrar shall, on payment of the prescribed fee, register particulars of the receiver or person or instrument and registrar of charges. So let's go through these clauses. Now, the Act of 2013, that is the Companies Act 2013, is about the appointment of a receiver or manager and of giving intimation regarding thereof to the company and registrar. Accordingly, if any person obtains an order for the appointment of a receiver or a person to manage the property which is subject to a charge, or if any person appointed such receiver or person under any power contained in the instrument, then that company or person is supposed to give that information to the registrar along with a copy of the order or instrument within 30 days from passing of the order or making the appointment. In turn, the registrar shall, upon payment of the prescribed fee, register particulars of the receiver, person or instrument of creation of charge. Please take about 2 minutes, go through this slide, and then we proceed. It's nothing else but the slide or intimation of receiver or manager. Take about a minute more, just go through the slide, and then we proceed. Punishment for contravention. If a company contravenes any of the provisions relating to registration of charges or modification or satisfaction of charges, the punishment shall be as under. The company shall be punishable with minimum fine of rupees 1 lakh and a maximum fine of rupees 10 lakhs. Every defaulting officer of the company shall be punishable with imprisonment maximum up to 6 months or with minimum fine of rupees 25,000 and maximum of rupees 1 lakh or both. Okay, so now if the company fails to register the creation of charge or register the modification of charge or register the satisfaction of charge, the punishment shall be as under. The company shall be punishable with a minimum fine of rupees 1 lakh and a maximum fine of rupees 10 lakhs. Every defaulting officer, that means who was the officer in charge at the time when the default was made, shall be punishable with an imprisonment maximum up to 6 months or with a minimum fine of rupees 25,000 and a maximum of rupees 1 lakh or with both. With the insertion of subsection 221, section 444 relating to punishment for fraud also becomes applicable in certain cases. Accordingly, if any person willfully furnishes any false or incorrect information, knowingly suppresses any material information. So the fraud angle also could come into the picture. That means if any person knowingly willfully furnishes any false or incorrect information or knowingly suppresses any material information, In that case also he shall be liable under section 447, and criminal proceedings and civil proceedings can be proceeded against that person. Please take about a minute, go through this slide, and then we proceed. Go through this slide, take about a minute. Go through this. Okay. Rectification by central government and registrar of charges. Rectification and register of charges empowers the central government to order rectification of register of charges in the following cases of default: where there was an omission in giving intimation to the registrar with respect to payment or satisfaction of charge within the specified time; where there was an omission or misstatement of any particulars in any filing previously made to the registrar. Such filing may relate to any charge or modification of charge, or with respect to any memorandum of satisfaction or other entry made under section 82, company to report satisfaction of charge, and 83, power of the registrar to make satisfaction of charge. Now, in the following cases, the register of charges could be rectified by the central government. So the central government has the power to rectify the register of charges in the following cases: when there was an omission, that means when a company failed to give information to the registrar with respect to payment to or satisfaction of a charge within the specified time, that is 30 days. The company fails or forgets to give the intimation to the registrar about the satisfaction of a charge within 30 days of its satisfaction, or where there is an omission or misstatement in the registration of creation of charge, or the registration of modification of charge, or the registration of satisfaction of any charge. Okay, if the company has made any mistake, omission or misstatement unknowingly, it was mistakenly done, and then in that case the company, the registrar, the central government can make rectification in the register of charges, okay, on its own motion. It has the power. Please take about a couple of minutes, go through this, and then we proceed. Please go through this, take about a couple of minutes, and then we proceed. I want you to be very clear about these concepts, and that's the reason why I'm asking you to go through it and giving you time to go through them, and ask me any questions you have. Please go through these clauses carefully. Take another minute or so. Take about 30 seconds more. Okay, now let's look at certain questions and certain scenarios to summarize the entire topic on registration of charges. I request everyone to pay attention and ask me any questions you have at any point of time. Question 1. How will a copy of an instrument evidencing creation of charge and required to be filed with the registrar be verified? Answer. A copy of every instrument evidencing and any creation or modification of charge and required to be filed with the registrar shall be verified as follows. In case the property is situated outside India, where the instrument or deed relates solely to the property situated outside India, the copy shall be verified by a certificate issued either under the seal, if any, of the company, or under the hand of the director or the company secretary of the company, or any authorized officer or the charge holder, or under the hand of some person other than the person who is interested in the mortgage of a charge. In case of property situated in India, whether wholly or partly, where the instrument or deed relates to the property situated in India, whether wholly or partly, the copy shall be verified by a certificate issued under the hand of any director or company secretary of the company or an authorized officer for the charge holder. So the question was, how will the copy of the instrument evidencing creation of charge and required to be filed with the registrar be verified? Now, firstly, we need to see what is the document that is evidencing creation of charge. Documents evidencing creation of charge means any document which states that so and so assets have to be pledged, hypothecated, or a lien has to be created against those assets, against which a loan or a particular loan facility is being provided by a banking institution or a financial institution. So that, now the question is, how can that be registered? Because that can be verified, because that document has to be filed with the registrar of companies. So now, in case the property which is being charged is situated outside India, where the instrument or deed relates solely to the property situated outside India, the copy shall be verified by a certificate issued under the seal, if any, of the company, or under the hand of any directors or company secretary of the company, or an authorized officer of the charge holder, or under the hand of some other person other than the who. So basically, these people have to give, the company has to give a certificate under the seal of the company, or either signed by any of the directors of the company or a company secretary of the company, stating that so and so asset has been created a charge, and that asset is created and asset is situated outside India. In case the property is situated in India, whether wholly or partly, where the instrument or deed relates to the property situated in India, whether wholly or partly, the copy shall be verified by a certificate issued under the hands of any director or company secretary of the company or an authorized officer or charge holder. Please take about a minute, go through this, and then we proceed. Take about a minute, and then we proceed. Okay, now we go to the second question. Briefly explain the provisions enforced by the company's amendment ordinance, second ordinance 2019, when a charge created before 2nd November 2018 is not registered within the prescribed period of 30 days as provided under section 77 subsection 1. So the question says, what are the provisions of the act with relation to charge created before 2nd November 2018 and is not registered within the prescribed time? So the answer, let's discuss the answer. As per section 77(1) of the Companies Act 2013, every company creating a charge within or outside India on its property or assets or any of its undertakings, whether tangible or intangible or otherwise, situated in India or otherwise, is required to register the particulars of the charge with the registrar within 30 days of its creation. In case the charge was created before 2nd November 2018 and it was not registered within the prescribed period of 30 days of its creation, Clause A of the first proviso of Section 77(1) states that the registrar may, on application by the company, allow such registration to be made within a period of 300 days of such creation. According to Clause A of the second proviso of Section 77(1), if the registration is not made within the extended period of 300 days, it shall be made within 6 months from 2nd November 2018 on payment of prescribed additional fees. It is provided that the different fees may be prescribed for different classes of companies. Note, the Companies Amendment 2nd Ordinance 2019 stand enforced with effect from 2nd November 2018. Alright, so let's look at the solution. Now, as per Section 77(1) of the Companies Act, every company that creates a charge on its assets, whether the assets are situated in India or outside India, on its property or assets or any of its undertakings, whether tangible or intangible, situated in India or outside India, is required to register the creation of the charge within 30 days of its creation. But however, if a company fails to register the charge within 30 days of its creation, and in case the charge was created before 2nd November 2018, then it can apply to the registrar for extension of time, giving a valid reason. If the registrar is happy with the reason given by the company, then he may extend the period for registration of creation of charge, which was created before 2nd November 2018, by a period of 300 days. And he may also stipulate the additional fees that is to be paid by the company. Okay, now in case the company fails to still register the creation of charge before the charge that was created before 2nd November 2018 within the extended period of 300 days, then the registrar may further give a period of 6 months from 2nd November 2018 for the registration of creation of charge, and with payment of additional fees as may be prescribed. Okay, so the first time is 30 days, then it may extend it to 300 days, then it may further extend it to 6 months from 2nd November 2018. Okay, so that is the provisions enforced by Companies Amendment 2nd Ordinance 2019 for a charge created before 2nd November 2018. Please take 2 minutes, go through this, and then we proceed. Please take a couple of minutes, go through this. It's a very important provision. First 30 days, then 300 days, then 6 months from 2nd November 2018 as applicable for registration of creation of charge on a charge that was created prior to 2nd November 2018. Now, define the term charge and also explain what is the punishment for default with respect to registration of charge as per the provision of Companies Act 2013. Answer. The term charge has been defined in section 2 subsection 16 of the Companies Act 2013 as an interest or lien created on the property or assets of a company or any of its undertakings or both as security and include mortgage. Punishment for contravention. According to section 86 of the Companies Act 2013, if a company makes any default with respect to registration of charges covered under chapter 6, a penalty shall be levied ranging from rupees 1 lakh to 10 lakhs. Every defaulting company is punishable with an imprisonment maximum up to 6 months or with a minimum of rupees 25,000 and a maximum of rupees 1 lakh or with both. Further, if any person willfully furnishes any false or incorrect information or knowingly suppresses any material information which is required to be registered under section 77, he shall be liable for action under section 447, that is punishment for fraud. Alright, so first let's look at what is the meaning of charge. The term charge has been defined in section 2 subsection 16 of the Companies Act 2013 as an interest or lien created on the property or assets of the company or any of its undertakings or both as security including mortgage. So simply it means whenever a company takes a loan or working capital, a term loan or a working capital facility from a financial institution or a bank, and that particular working capital or term loan is secured and the company offers its assets as a security, it simply means that it is creating a charge on those assets of the company. Now, a charge can be either a fixed charge or a floating charge. A fixed charge is a charge where specific assets are identified and are pledged or a lien is created on them, and those assets cannot be sold without the permission of the charge holder. Whereas a floating charge is a charge that is created on assets that keep rotating. Okay, and that particular asset that was on which a charge was created is sold and it is used for production and earning revenue of the company. Examples are sundry debtors, stock in trade, which are continuously rotating. Alright, so whenever a company takes a loan or an overdraft or a term loan facility from a bank or a financial institution and offers its shares, offers its assets as a security, it is said to be a charge created on those assets of the company. Now, whenever a company creates a charge on its assets or it modifies the charge on its assets or it satisfies the charge on its assets, it is supposed to intimate to the registrar within 30 days of the creation, modification or satisfaction of the charge or any extended period as the registrar may provide. In case the company does not, and it also needs to give the instrument giving proof of the creation of charge or the satisfaction of the charge. And in case the company contravenes any provisions relating to intimation to the registrar for creation of the charge, modification of the charge or satisfaction of the charge, then the company shall be levied a penalty which will range from 1 lakh to 10 lakhs, and every defaulting officer is punishable with imprisonment maximum up to 6 months, a minimum rupees 25,000 and a maximum of rupees 1 lakh or with both. Further, if any person willfully furnishes any false or incorrect information or knowingly suppresses any material information which is required to be registered under section 77, he shall be liable for action under section 447, that is punishment for fraud. Please take 2 minutes, go through this and then we proceed. Please take a couple of minutes and then we proceed. Take a couple of minutes, go through this carefully, it's very important, and ask me any questions you have. take about 30 seconds more. Carefully go through this and then we proceed. Okay, now let's look at another question. Renuka Soaps and Detergents Limited realized on 2nd May 2019 that particulars of charge created on 12th March 2019 in favor of a bank were not registered with the Registrar of Companies. What procedure should the company follow to get the charge registered? Would the procedure be different if the company realized its mistake of not registering the charge on 7th June 2019 instead of 2nd May 2019? Explain with reference to the relevant provisions of the Companies Act 2013. Alright, so let's understand the question first. The company created a charge on 12th March 2019 and on 2nd May 2019 it realized that the charge was not registered with the Registrar of Companies. So now the question is, what is the procedure that the company should follow in order to get the charge registered with the Registrar of Companies? Then it is also asking you if the procedure will be different if the company realized its mistake of not registering the charge on 7th June instead of 2nd May 2019, and we need to answer this in light with the provisions of the Companies Act 2013. Alright, so let's look at the solution. The charge in the present case was created after 2nd November 2018. The first case is whether the charge was created before 2018 2nd November or after. So it is created after. That is the date of commencement of the company's amendment or second ordinance 2019, to which another set of provision is applicable. These provisions are different from a case where the charge was created before 2nd November 2018. So first it becomes very important for us to see whether the charge was created before 2nd November 2018 or on or after 2nd November 2018. Alright, so now we have realized that the charge was created after 2nd November 2018. Initially, the prescribed particulars of the charge together with the instrument, if any, by which the charge is created or evidence thereof, duly verified by a certificate, are to be filed with the registrar within 30 days of its creation. So, as the charge is created after 2nd November 2018, the procedure as per Companies Act 2013 is, along with the instrument creating the charge and a certificate verifying the assets subject to the charge, had to be submitted to the Registrar of Companies within 30 days of creation of the charge. Alright, so this is the first point. In this case, the particulars of charge were not filed within the prescribed period of 30 days. So in this case, the company realized on 2nd May 2019 that they have not registered the creation of charge with the registrar, which they had to do within 30 days of creation of charge, that is within 30 days of 12th March 2019. Okay. However, the registrar is empowered under clause B of the first proviso of section 77 subsection 1 to extend the period of 30 days by another 30 days, that is 60 days by the creation of charge on payment of prescribed additional fee. So, however, section 77(1) empowers the Registrar of Companies to extend the days of 30 days by another 30 days in case an application is made by the company giving sufficient reason as to why the creation of charge was not registered by the company within 30 days of creation of charge. So, the Registrar of Companies, if he is satisfied, he can extend the period by another 30 days, that is, the registration of creation of charge can be done within 60 days from the date of creation of charge, which was earlier 30 days. Okay? And this time an additional prescribed fee has to be paid. Taking advantage of this provision, Renuka Soaps and Detergents Limited should immediately file the particulars of charge with the registrar after satisfying him through making an application that it had sufficient cause for not filing the particulars of charge within 30 days of creation. So, on 2nd May, immediately, as it will be within 60 days from the creation of charge, first they have to apply to the registrar, satisfy him that they had sufficient reasons not to register the creation of charge within 30 days. If the registrar allows, they can do it within 60 days. If the company realizes its mistake of not registering the charge on 7th June 2019 instead of 2nd May 2019, it shall be noted that a period of 60 days has already expired from the date of creation of charge. However, Clause B of the second proviso to Section 77(1) provides another opportunity for registration of charge by granting a further period of 60 days, but the company is required to pay ad valorem fees. Since first 60 days from the creation of charge were expired on 11th May 2019, Renuka Soaps and Detergents Limited can still get the charge registered within a further period of 60 days from 11th November after paying prescribed ad valorem fees. The company is required to make an application to the registrar giving sufficient cause. Okay, so now if the company realized on 7th June 2019 that it has not registered the creation of charge, please note the first 60 days are over. So it can still go back to the registrar and make an application providing sufficient reason for non-registration, and if the registrar is satisfied with the reason, he may further allow a period of 60 days from the expiry of the earlier 60 days for registering the creation of charge, by also with the payment of some ad valorem fees. That will be higher penalty. So in case the registrar of companies allows them this additional period of 60 days, in such a case the company can file for the registration of creation of charge within a period of 60 days from 11th May 2019, that is the date of expiry of the original 60 days. Okay, so please take 2 minutes, go through this slide, and then we proceed. Take 2 minutes, go through the entire thing. Please go through this in detail. Yes, and now we take what if the company realizes on 7th June? In that case, what it needs to do? That thing is given to you. I've already explained this to you. Please take another minute or so, and then we proceed. Ask me any questions you have. Okay, so with that I finished the topic today on registration of charges, and I also welcome you once again to Let's Crack CA Exams vertical of Unacademy, India's largest online learning platform, providing a world of courses, resources, and contents covering various examinations and topics and subjects of your choice. At this point, I'd like to reiterate a few points, and I'm just going back to them. I'd like to reiterate the Plus platform of Unacademy, which is a subscription-based platform, and I request and encourage all of you to come on to this paid platform, which gives you various advantages. The advantages being, firstly, it provides daily live classes where you get to chat with your educator, engage in discussions, ask your doubts and answer polls, all this while the class is going on. You can clear your doubts and discuss on matters of your choice and the subject with the educator, with your favorite educator at any time you want, and all this while the classes are going on. The Plus platform of Unacademy provides live tests and quizzes which help you evaluate your preparation with the regular mock tests and quizzes, and get detailed analysis of your performance, which enable you to identify your strong areas and your weak areas, so that you can spend lesser time on the strong areas and use that time to work on your weaker areas and convert them into your strong areas. The courses provided by Unacademy, the Plus platform of Unacademy, are structured courses. They are structured in such a way that they are in line with your exam syllabus, and to help you best prepare for it, and best efforts are made so that no important topic of your syllabus is missed out once you attend the courses provided by the Plus platform of Unacademy. And lastly and most importantly, it gives you unlimited access to all the live and recorded courses to watch from the comfort of any of your devices, that is the desktop, laptop, tablet or your mobile phone, at any point of the day. 24/7 these are available with you, and you can carry it whether you're at work or whether you are commuting in a bus or a taxi. You can access the information there and learn and make the most of your time that you have. For the people who have downloaded the Unacademy Learning app and are using it, I'd like to thank you and request you to continue your support with us. And for the people who have not yet downloaded the Unacademy Learning app, I request you to go to your Play Store and download the Unacademy Learning app and register on it using a simple process. You need to enter your mobile number. You will get an OTP. Please use that OTP and register on the Unacademy Learning app. Now, what happens once you register on the Unacademy Learning app? It will open the world of content, courses and resources that Unacademy has to provide to you, and help you carry it in your pocket and use it at the click of a button whenever you want it and however you want it. So once again, for those who are using the Unacademy Learning app, I thank you for your support. And for the ones who have not yet downloaded the Unacademy Learning app, I request you to download the Unacademy Learning app and make the most of it. Also, for the ones who have not yet followed my profile, I request you to go to the Unacademy Learning app, go to my profile, that is Prathik Gupta, Prathik, and click on the follow button to get live updates about the timings and the topics of my session, so that you can attend it on time and be part of it. And I would love to see you attending my sessions and interacting with you on the subject matter and the topic discussions. So see you around there. The Plus platform of Unacademy, like I said, is a subscription-based model, and the CA Foundation and Intermediate subscription plan of the Plus platform of Unacademy has the following packages. It has packages for 1 month, 3 months, 6 months, 12 months, and 24 months. The 1 month package costs you rupees 3,500. The 3 month package costs you rupees 8,750. The 6 month package costs you rupees 14,000. The 12 month package costs you rupees 17,500, and the 24 month package costs you rupees 21,000. While you make a choice of the package that you want, please do not forget to use the code Prathik, Prathik, to get a discount of 10% on the listed price. I repeat, Prathik. It's not mentioned on the screen, but I'm saying it, Prathik, Prathik. The discounted price of the various subscription packages provided for the CA Foundation and Intermediate subscription of the Plus platform of Unacademy are: 1 month will cost you rupees 3,150, 3 months will cost you rupees 7,875, the 6 month will cost you rupees 12,600, 12 month will cost you rupees 15,750, and the 24 month package will cost you rupees 18,900. While you're free to choose the package that you want, I personally would recommend you the 12 months or the 24 months package for the various reasons, such as cost effective. If you see the per month cost of the 1 month package and the per month cost of the 12 month and 24 months package, you can see it's almost less than 1/3 of the 1 month package cost. That's point number one. Point number two is, when you're preparing for the CA Foundation and Intermediate subscription, you require about a year's time for a preparation, and any tough exam requires that kind of preparation. And as the CA Foundation and the Intermediate course are being provided under one package or subscription, it makes more sense for you to go for a 12 month or a 24 months package instead of the 1 month or 3 months. Having said this, you're free to use the subscribe to the package of your choice. And while you're choosing your package, please do not forget to use the code Prathik, Prathik, to get a discount of 10% on the listed price. The various packages and the price of the same after discount are on your screen. And I hope to see you on the Plus platform very soon in your journey of your CA Foundation and Intermediate. All right. And again, I have taken various sessions on various topics of the Companies Act and other Income Tax Act topics. So you can go through the profile on YouTube, Prathik Gupta, Gupta, on YouTube to find the various sessions that I've taken, and I hope you find it useful and beneficial for your preparation for the CA Foundation and Intermediate subscription. It's always a pleasure to share my knowledge and experience with you and to get a feedback from you in terms of queries or discussions. Thank you so much, and I look forward to seeing you all in my future sessions as well. Thank you and take care.